Whether you agree with sanctioning fees and the sanctioning body fees or not, that is not the conversation.
Boy, you better slap your f***ing self and paying your ass shit.
Hey, Crawford is from the hood, bro.
Boxing Confederation of the World Boxing Confederation of the World Boxing Confederation.
Bro, you don't even know what the WBC stands for. This is the problem. And then when Boxing Ego do a video, y'all be like, oh, but he just a YouTuber. Why y'all listening to him? He just a YouTuber. I am just a YouTuber, but I'm also a man and I'm also intelligent. And I also know what the WBC stands for if I'm going to talk about it. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Controversy. Scandal. Tragedy. Mayhem. Man, oh man, your boy Ego done cracked the code. Terence Crawford, he got removed as the undisputed champion, stripped of his title by the WBC. And let's just say, there's more than meets the eye with what's going on. And I done cracked the code, the Da Vinci Code on this one, I'm pretty sure. Stay tuned, allow me to get busy, pause, and we'll get through this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, not to toot my own horn, but I gotta be real. These are the type of videos that I enjoy doing, and I know for a fact there is no one in boxing who is better at doing these surgical videos. I'm talking about high quality visuals, audio, showing receipts, and breaking it down, using analogies. Nobody in the game. I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. So I'm not gonna spend too much time, and we'll get into it, but Crawford got stripped of his WBC title. Not much going on in boxing. That's one of the bigger stories. And something about it wasn't really making sense. And I even alluded to that in my videos about it. I'm like, why did Crawford jump out the window, kind of beefing or dissing the WBC and their belt? Why now? Like, he's never acted like this before. And it didn't really make sense to me, but I told you, I'm the best in this field. And I do the detective work so you don't have to. In exchange, we survive here off of word of mouth. All you got to do is show the engagements, the likes, the shares, the comments to blow up the channel. If you gained any value from this or any of my videos, that's it. But I already did the footwork for you, so you don't have to. And again, there's nobody, I repeat, a lot of people pump out quick 4 or 5 minute videos like, oh, let me just say something, but they're not really talking about nothing. Especially on my Unpacked series, we talk about something and we really break it down. So I'm going to break it down for you and get you all caught up to speed and let you know what I believe to be really going on. So without further ado, let's get unpacked. You know what to do as far as a viewer. If you're enjoying this video, any of my videos, you know what to do. So Crawford got stripped. Boom. We know that. Different people jumped in. And I really believe, not to insult anyone, but I really believe this is above a lot of boxing fans' pay grade. So they're not familiar. This is very, spoiler alert, very political. After further review and kind of like trying to make it make sense, I understand what's going on now. Because at first it was just like, you get hit with all the information. And as a detective, true detective, like the HBO show, you got to put it all together. So I'm like, why is Crawford right now in his career losing undisputed, kind of bashing the WBC, saying their belt don't even matter, why is he acting like this? In my opinion, spoiler alert, I believe he's been programmed to create this friction. Let me explain. So, what some of you guys don't know, which is, again, why I'm saying above a lot of people's pay grade. Today is the day where they're having a congressional hearing trying to make changes to the Muhammad Ali Reform Act, right? Something that has been put in place and kind of left alone up until now, that has been put in place to protect the fighter, the warriors that step into the square circle. And now they're trying to make changes to it. So we're going to explore all of that in the video. So at first I couldn't really grasp why this was going on. And before I delve into it further, I got to go chronological. You got to look at the earlier parts of the video, my other videos where I broke it down. I'm not going to really go over the WBC. Basically, they said it is what it is. Crawford made his decision. So we stripped him, and we're actually relieved by this. Now that it's all over, he didn't give us the courtesy of a phone call or correspondence. He kind of just ghosted us, right? And he was like, you got to pretty much remember why you're undisputed. Remember who helped you out, instead of handling it unprofessionally. And from Mauricio Suleiman, I don't always agree with the WBC. I've been very vocal about that on my channel, but that part is fair. I think that is a fair, that's something fair. You work with somebody in a working capacity for years, show a little professionalism. When people have a wedding or a baby shower, you don't have to go, but maybe RSVP if you're going, or if not, you can let them know, hey, I won't be able to attend. So they can get their caterers and their photographers or whatever, DJ, they have a head count, you know what I mean? So that kind of is what it was. But Crawford responded back in a very aggressive fashion. And that's what I'm going to pull up for you guys right now. So let me put on my trusted headphones, got the headset, and we'll go through what Crawford had to say. Roll the clip.
Man. Listen. I got something to say. I got a lot to say. What's up, though, everyone? I'm gonna say that first and foremost. I'm gonna just say what's up. But I gotta dive right into it. I see Mauricio, got a lot to say about me not paying him $300,000 plus another $100K something for sanction fees, right? Then he gonna tell me I ain't even apologize. Like, who the fuck you think I am? Boy, you better slap your fucking self. Ain't paying your ass shit.
Hey, Crawford is from the hood, bro. It is what it is, bro. I don't even know. That was kind of funny though. He was like, "You better slap your effing self. I ain't paying you." I'm so sorry. Like, but you understand. You feel what I'm talking about. He just started this whole thing mad aggressive.
Fuck you talking about pay you $300,000. What makes you so motherfucking better than any other sanctioned bodies? Huh? Answer that question. What makes you better than the WBO, the IBF, or the WBA? Everybody accepted what I was giving them. But you, the WBC, think that you better than everybody, don't you? So since you the WBC and you got the fucking green belt, which don't mean fucking shit. The fucking real belt is the ring belt, which is free, motherfucker.
Whoa. But, I mean, you see Crawford not really being super professional. It's just a regular, like, rant video. You know what I mean? Like, Mauricio Suleiman did do all this, but he like F this, F that, F-bomb, blah, 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 expletive. He not even, like, he just going for the jugular for whatever reason. And he was like, the ring belt is free. Remember when I told you it was going to get political? Who owns the Ring magazine and the ring belt now? Oh, that's right. Turki. Keep this in mind. Because, again, I told you from the jump, when I seen all this stuff going on, I'm like racking my brain. I'm BOXINGEGO. I'm an intelligent dude. I'm like, what's going on? Like, why is this so, why he getting at him like so crazy and vicious? Like, you have been a WBC champion before and you accepted it with grace. I think you even went to the convention. Like, they be doing them little conventions in other countries and all that. I believe Crawford was at some of them. So I'm like, why he getting at the WBC like this? Now, when I started to, and you'll understand if you make it to the end of the video, now I'm understanding what's going on. You see, he said the ring belt is free, which is true. But he bigging up the ring belt, and he was like, the WBC belt don't mean ish. But that's cap, because why, if you felt this way, the green belt was trash and it doesn't mean anything, why did you ever accept it? Because the fact is, you would have never been undisputed without the green belt. So that we know that's cap.
What are you talking about? You want me to pay you more than the other sanctioned bodies because you feel like you better than them. How in the world all the sanctioned bodies?
That don't make sense either. He said you feel like you better than them. Each sanctioning body has their own rules, and you know, they arrive at their own conclusions. That's like expecting Sam's Club to match the membership price of Costco, vice versa. Like, if Costco wants to charge $50 for a basic membership, and then the VIP, the gold executive membership at Costco, let's say it's $150. And then at Sam's Club, all their memberships is $35. What the that got to do with Costco? You dig? Like, they're not the same companies. So Costco, they formulate and come up with their price tier system or whatever based on their business. So what he said don't make sense. He's like, that you think you're better. It don't have nothing to do with in business. It don't have nothing to do with thinking you're better. You just want to get with whatever works out for you, right? It is crazy because I got to explain this stuff. And then it makes it like I'm pro sanctioning body when, you know, if you listen to any of my videos, I had beefs with the WBC. I called them out several times. So I'm just a fair critic, period.
He's agreed to the same amount, but you sit your motherfucking ass up there and say that I need to apologize to you. The fuck? You can take the fucking belt. It's a trophy anyway. The fuck am I paying you every time I step foot in the fucking ring? So why should I have to pay to carry your belt? You should be paying me. If you want to be truthful, you should be paying me. I don't see, it irks my nerves how this dude gets on a plane, gets a hotel suite, him and his buddies, they go out to dinner, 5-star meals, all that, you know, and guess who gotta pay for it? Us fighters. We paying for y'all to come out here, have the time of y'all life, stay in the best hotels of y'all life, And it's all done on our dime. It's done on our dime. Do that sound right to y'all? It's crazy, ain't it? We the one out there getting battered, knocked upside our head, and every time we step foot in the ring, we gotta pay them a sanction fee like they the government. We getting taxed. It's crazy. Then he said, allegedly, I made X amount of money. You don't know how much I made. You don't know how much I made. Once again, you're speculating. You're speculating. So listen, Mauricio, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Because everybody in the world know you was going for Canelo. You was mad that I beat Canelo. It's okay. It happens, you know? But if you a real fan of the sport, you would have, you know, said congratulations instead of having that little smirk on your face, all mad and pouting.
Hey, he cooking right now. They do, the WBC, they do show favoritism. I called him WBC, we back Canelo. He cooking with this part.
But listen though, you should have took the money and you should have been thankful and grateful that I was rocking your belt around as your champion. As your champion, the WBC champion. The undisputed champion at that. But you want to make it about you. You want to say, oh, well, you stripping me. Like, I've been stripped before. IBF just stripped me when I was at 147. Doesn't matter. I'm still considered the undisputed champion. I'm still the champion in the division. Because you know why? The only belt that's recognizable as the champion is the ring belt, baby.
Remember I said politics. You see, he keep bringing up the ring belt. Like basically pushing the envelope. None of these other belts matter because I got that one ring belt. Remember, Turkey said they're coming out with their own belts and they were going to do away with the sanctioning bodies and do their own thing. Y'all don't see the play yet, bro. What do I got to spell it out for you? There's a battery in this man's back. See, at first, I was like, okay, Terence Crawford, he rocking and he doing this for the fighters. I don't think that anymore because now it's politics. They're trying to change the Muhammad Ali Act. They're preparing to try to do a hostile takeover to try to monopolize boxing and turn boxing to a structure that can be found in the UFC. That's why they got Dana White and TKO. And that's why Crawford is making his stance, in my opinion, like pretty much after having the 4 belts and being proud about belts and accolades and undisputed and milestones. Now he beat Canelo and now his messaging is completely different. So I was wondering like, yo, what caused this? Why is he acting like this? Why is he so harsh? You know, you were cool with these people after you beat Errol Spence and da-da-da-da. So why the messaging changed? But you look, again, today is the day of the congressional hearing. A congressional hearing about the Ali Act. The man keeps telling you, man, the only belt that really matters is the belt connected to the people now that I'm rocking with. Turki, right? Ring Magazine, Rick Reno, Coppinger, all the people that rock with Ring and employed by Ring now. Y'all better study.
Undisputed champion. I'm still the champion in the division. Because you know why? The only belt that's recognizable as the champion is the ring belt, baby. That's the #1 belt in the division. That trumps all belts. And guess what? It's free. It's free. How you love that? $180,000 free. How much your belt cost? I wonder, how much your belt cost? Huh? I don't see no receipts on your belt. It's crazy. Y'all be having so much taxes on these belts.
So for me, what this video started to remind me, this is why I started to really like understand what was going on. And for me, I look at it like this. You ever been on Instagram, we'll say, right? And somebody is doing a video, right? Instagram, YouTube, either one works, right? Somebody is doing a video and it sounds like they're in the best interest of the viewer. They're like, man, this person's cooking, da 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 da. And then you look in the caption and it's like hashtag ad, hashtag sponsored. Oh, this is my affiliate. Or they say in the video, because you're supposed to declare it, they say in the video, I've been sent this product, right? Like I've seen so many YouTube tutorials and unboxings, and they'll be like, yeah, this is the best Sony camera ever, you know? Or they'll be like, I stopped using my Sony camera and I only use Canon now. And then you find out that particular like influencer or content creator, the reason they switched from Sony to Canon and now they're bigging up Canon is because they got a partnership and an affiliate and they gave them the camera for free. So people in America, you know, people like free. Food influencers, that is another prime example of it, right? Where there's influencers out here in NorCal in the Bay Area where I'm at, and they'll start bigging up certain restaurants. I've been to those places and the food ain't good. And they're like, oh my God, this food is good. Oh my, this is the best pizza I ever had. And I'm like, what? But then you know that behind the scenes, they got paid. It's like a paid spot. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like this is pretty much, it's not even really a food review. This is, you're getting comped. So anything is good at that point. Dave Chappelle got a joke on one of his stand-ups, and he was saying something like, I've worked with Coca-Cola and Pepsi, and people always ask me which one is better. And he was like, Pepsi paid me last. They cut the check last. So F Coke. You know what I mean? And that's what, the more I started listening to what Crawford was saying, the more I started to understand. This ain't about like, you aren't pro sanctioning bodies and they've been robbing the fighters and eating dinners and stuff. This is pretty much an advert for what Turki got going on in the ring in Riyadh season, and the people you working with to try to separate and push the wave to go from where boxing has been with all the belts to now, you know, they're trying to monopolize. And it's funny because Al Heyman was sued by Top Rank at a point in time and Golden Boy for trying to create a monopoly. Now you got people playing in your face trying to create a monopoly right now and going through Congress with Trump in office and stuff like that. And people aren't saying nothing. It's just so funny. But again, once I pointed it out to you, listen, the more you hear it, the more it sounds like this is an ad for Ring magazine. You're like, the Ring belt is free. It's free. That belt cost $180,000. Where's the receipt for your belt? How much did your belt cost? WBC, I ain't seen no receipt. When you beat Errol Spence, before you had worked with Turki, did you ever hear Crawford ask any sanctioning body about why they have sanctioning fees, stand up for the fighter, and or ask how much the belt costs to make and why are we paying into this? I've heard some fighters like question sanctioning fees, but Crawford wasn't one of them until now.
Huh? I don't see no receipts on your belt. It's crazy. Y'all be having so much taxes on these belts. You got some nerves. It's crazy that you can sit up there and have all these belts. You know, you got the WBC silver, the WBA intern, the whatever belt y'all got, and you taxing these fighters every time they fight, and you claim that you for these fighters. You're not for these fighters. You probably worse than the promoters. But hey, I wish you the best, you know? I wish you the best, you and your company. You know, Turki, I hope y'all get that done, man. I hope y'all get that done so we can all...
Boom. What did I tell you? He said, I wish you the best on your career and your company. Turki, I hope you get that done. Turki, I hope you get that done.
Free. How much your belt cost? I'm here and have all these belts. You probably worse than the promoters. I hope y'all get that done. So, and you claim that you for these fighters. You're not for these fighters. You probably worse than the promoters. But hey, I wish you the best, you know? I wish you the best, you and your company. You know, Turki, I hope y'all get that done, man. I hope y'all get that done so we can all see, you know, people face like this guy, you know, go away from boxing because they ruin the sport with all these antics that they do. You know, they got they ranking systems when people be mandatories for years, like Benavidez. You know, they don't strip these fighters, but I give credit to the IBF. They stripped me. They ain't even give me time. They stripped me, pop me, even though I wasn't, you know, coming back down the way. But you know, they handled their business. They did what they were supposed to do. The WBC, you ain't never see them strip no Canelo for no Benavidez. He was what, mandatory for like 2 years? It's crazy. But you know, that's that favoritism shit. But I'm good though, baby. I'm good. I'm living life. I'm happy. You know. Yeah, man. Still the champion. Can't take that away from me. History already been made, baby. The great. Like I said yesterday, I am legend. And I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I'm about to go in here and give me a turkey burger. Fat boy.
Boom. So again, I understand the play now. Like, it all makes a lot of sense. You can take my word for it. I don't really care. I'm still going to get paid. Life will still go on. Believe me or not, this is all political. I can, like, he made it, the way he addressed certain things, like Turki, I hope y'all get that done. If you beefing with Mauricio Suleiman, Turki didn't really have nothing to do with it, right? We're not done. I'm gonna keep bringing it up, bro. I'm gonna keep showing y'all. I'm the illest in the game, bro. I'm the illest here. Boom. So, the Muhammad Ali Revival Act congressional hearing is today. I already went over that. Pat McAfee has TKO members, Nick Khan, right? WWE president Nick Khan. It says board of directors for TKO Group and Zuffa Boxing executive. He has him on the line, right? And they're talking about the purpose of the Ali Act and why they want to change it and blah, blah, blah. To provide increased choice and opportunity. This is what they're going to tell you. I'm not even going to go into that, right? So this is Turki's people, TKO, WWE. You got to understand, Dana White, TKO, UFC, all under the same umbrella. And Ring's working with Dana White, right? And he's a guest on Pat McAfee's show. Terence Crawford, quote, Terence Crawford had an amazing effort against Canelo, unanimously won that championship. How is it that 2 months later, he's not the champion because he didn't pay a fee? It's the only sport of boxing that we see nonsense like this, right? Look who reposted it. The WWE, which again is in cahoots with the UFC and the Saudis and Turkey. So they like, when you already know, when somebody reposts, they're pretty much co-signing it in most cases. So Nick Khan of the WWE, they're all interconnected with Turkey and Dana White and the WWE now. They're trying to monopolize the sport of boxing. Mark my words. This is why they're trying to make the changes, right? Again, I know it's a lot of information. If you're gaining any value from this video, subscribe, where we really break down boxing on the daily. I got plenty of cookage. The cook-up will still come. So a day before the congressional hearing, Terence Crawford releases a rant and all-out assault for the first time in his whole career, and he's going against one of the most recognized of the 4-belt sanctioning bodies, the green belt, the WBC. He's like, man, what y'all do for the fighters? And we eating dinner, but you were there too. So why? So again, Crawford is looking like a double agent, so to speak, right? Because my thing is this. As a man, there are certain things that I stand for, right? But I've always stood for those things, right? It don't matter if I was 15, if I was 21, if I was 30. That's who I am, right? That is who I am. For Crawford, he played the sanctioning body game, made his whole like career off of like, I got more milestones than you. I'm a champion. I was lineal champion. I beat Ndongo to become undisputed before he beat Errol. He was like, but I've been undisputed. Errol, I got signature wins and I've been undisputed. So you were all about these belts. You were playing the game, paying whatever fees. And then what made you change in this fashion, right? Like, why are you just like completely 180? Get that done, Turkey, so we don't have to see these people no more. I'm telling you why. Politics. Now, the reality is, no matter what y'all say, because the sanctioning bodies, for sure, they're not perfect, right? We know that. But this picture where Floyd got, this is Floyd Mayweather, where Floyd got all these green belts, that's iconic. This picture where, like I said before, hard work, dedication, where Floyd and his homie and his team are holding all the green belts, that is legendary. These are legendary pictures. So again, the WBC, sometimes they be on BS. There's a lot that they've done that I don't necessarily agree with. But to try to write them out like there's no history there and act like you're like Crawford, what he did, like, man, your belt trash, da-da-da-da. Man, who cares? Like, your belt ain't ish. The one that really count is the ring. That is an advert. That is an advertisement. It is, you might as well just do a commercial for Turkey, right? The WBC, like it or not, they've been involved in the biggest fights. This is Mayweather McGregor, right? They've been involved in the biggest fights in boxing history, for sure. And if it wasn't them, it was another sanctioning body, right? So now they're trying to make this move where they're going to try to make it cool to not do the sanctioning body thing. And there are elements of what Crawford was saying that I understand, right? Where it could be tweaked and worked out or whatever, cool. But trust me on this one. This is all political. So I'm going to play a clip right now. This is Nick Khan the WWE president who works with Dana White, Turki, TKO, all that stuff, and listen, he too was dissing Mauricio Suleiman the same exact day that Crawford dissed him. So I believe in coincidences, but not this many coincidences, right? Like a coincidence is like this random thing happened, cool. But if it's a chain reaction where WBC announces they've been stripped, Crawford does a rant video, TKO WWE president Nick Khan does this interview that I'm about to play in a second, WWE's retweeting it, Ring Magazine, like, bro, I really gets busy in the boxing game, bro. There's no one better than me in this whole game. In the digital age, I gets busy, bro. You not finna try me, bro. Watch. There's not this many coincidences. Right now I'm on Ring Magazine's page, right? So they just randomly posted.
Do y'all see them though? Do y'all see them though? Do y'all see them though?
Randomly posted a video, and look, Crawford trophied the green belts, but now he hate him, right? Now he don't like him.
Listen to.
This is Crawford talking about his collection, which is
still
nice.
Plastic, don't worry about it.
He got all the belts. Focusing in on the ring.
I see them though. Disputed.
So the day all this happens, Ring Magazine posts, Crawford's belt collection is immense, and it's showing all the belts that he had. Because he's a great fighter and a great champion. Duh.
Disputed.
So by the Ring doing that, everybody's in cahoots. What more can I say? Everybody's in cahoots. And by the Ring doing that, you're just proving my point. And you're proving the point of, you're actually disproving that the sanctioning bodies are trash by Crawford having a trophy case, a display case, like a museum of all of his trophies and accomplishments. So to now try to make it like the sanctioning bodies are all crooks and they're all, it wasn't making sense to me. Why would a man, if you thought these people were crooked and money hungry and getting free dinners and free travel, why would you have a display case in your crib of all of the trophies from these belts if they didn't matter to you? Like a guy like Gervonta Davis, he told you, I don't care about these belts, pay me. Crawford was not on this. He's literally showing you a nice display case of his body of work, including the WBC. But now all of a sudden you have a beef with the WBC. Bro, this is politics. I promise you. But right now I'm going to play Nick Khan on Pat McAfee show.
And by the way, the gentleman who runs that organization, this is supposed to be a nonprofit organization, going into Canelo Crawford, said he couldn't stay in a regular hotel room. He needed a suite. He wanted to make sure that his tickets were front row. He wanted to make sure there were ample number of tickets. It all seems quite odd to me that a sport would be run. And by the way, the gentleman who runs.
So he's taking shots at Mauricio Suleiman. He's like, yo, y'all nonprofit. This is what people do. The opportunists, they wait for the opportunity and then they try to strike and try to take over. This is no more, no less. But again, I'm making this video because I need the people that watch my channel to understand what's really going on. Because at face value, it appears like Crawford just standing up to, you know, the corporations and he's going at them. But this is ulterior motives, right? It is more than meets the eye. This is also Nick Khan on the Pat McAfee show.
That leads to what's coming tomorrow. And I just really learned about this and read up.
Pat McAfee said it leads up to what's coming up tomorrow. The congressional hearing for the Ali revival act that they're trying to do.
About this, I guess the Muhammad Ali American Boxing Act is in act right now, and I guess there's a lot of holes, a lot of flaws, a lot of different things that people take advantage of. There's a story this morning where Terence Crawford was stripped of his titles because he didn't pay a fee back to the World Boxing Confederation or whatever it is for $300,000. So they stripped his title because he didn't pay them that amount of cash afterwards, and so he's not the champion because he didn't pay them. They stripped him, whatever the case. It seems like really odd timing that this news gets released right now when tomorrow, I believe, there is a conversation happening in Congress about a little bit of an evolution of this or a revival of this particular act. And I know Zuffa is a massive piece of this, but you're not the only ones. There's a lot of boxers that are backing this. There's a lot of people in the boxing business that are backing it. There are retractors, obviously. Can you tell me about what you guys are trying to do and why people would not want you to do it that are in the boxing world?
Of course. So first of all, on the Terence Crawford side, you watched that fight on Netflix on September 13th. Terence Crawford, amazing effort against Canelo, who also had an amazing effort. Terence Crawford unanimously won that championship. So how, in fact, is it 2.5 months later that he's no longer the champion of the World Boxing Confederation?
Bro, again, he's trying to make it sound like this is something that is hard to understand. I've explained it to you. Whether you agree with sanctioning fees and the sanctioning body fees or not, that is not the conversation. The fact is they exist and they have to be paid. They're like dues, right? I used to be in Boy Scouts as a child, right? There were scout dues. I don't know what they did with the money. I don't know if they used it for what they said they were using it for. I don't know that. I don't work for, I was not, my parents had to pay the dues, and it was supposed to go to what they said it was supposed to go to fund the trips and supplies and materials and stuff. Whether you agree with it or you think it's expensive or not, it's not the conversation. It exists. Crawford did not find out a working number, did not pay. So their belt, their rules, the WBC said, all right, you don't want to pay the amount. We could have charged you 3%, but you made so much money or reported $50 million. And then Crawford even said, he was like, y'all speculating when I made. There's reports out. I don't know if that was true or not, but the report said you made 50 million. They tried to charge you 0.6%, not the typical 3%, which would have equated to, off said report, I guess $300K and change, right? I've heard of that. The higher you get in, it's like the more money you make, the more taxes you have to pay, right? If you won the lottery and got $10 million, you're getting taxed heavily on that. It is what it is. This has always been a part of the chain, a link in the chain, right? So he's saying, the WWE president, Nick Khan, he's like, man, how is it that Crawford won the belt 2 months ago and he got stripped? Because you have fees that were due and then you blew them off. That's what Mauricio Suleiman is saying. You didn't correspond with them. Guess what? Do it to your cell phone. If what I'm saying don't make sense, if you have, I don't care if you have T-Mobile, Verizon, Sprint, or I don't even know what AT&T, I don't even know all the phone companies that are out now. Nextel, whatever, right? Boost Mobile. Don't pay your bill for 3 months and tell me if you can place a call. It's that simple. So you can argue if you think the fees are too high or da-da-da, but this has been a part of the process that all these fighters have known. Crawford has, you see all the trophies in his trophy case. He's happily went by it. Now the people above him, the Turkeys and TKO, are trying to do something, and now he's being used as a pawn to advocate for like a new wave. Like, let's get rid of the sanctioning bodies that have always been here or pretty much been here, right? And they got all this history, and let's rewrite what's cool. It's that simple. But he's like, oh, how could they strip him? Because he didn't pay the amount, period. And then Crawford in his video, he said, but Canelo didn't get stripped. To me, it seemed like they had a little bit of friction at one point. Canelo and Mauricio probably have a good relationship. Canelo probably paid his due because the WBC definitely looked out for Canelo. So that's probably another reason why. I don't know why he didn't fight Benavidez. See, I stand firm on the issues. I wanted the Benavidez fight. If you watch my channel, I pushed for the fight. I don't know why the WBC gave Canelo. That's a good point. I don't know why they gave him all these chances where he didn't. But again, let's not convolute what we're talking about. Canelo should have fought Benavidez. I've been very clear on that. But Canelo probably paid his dues. You're like, why you didn't strip him? Because he didn't pay. He probably paid his dues where you didn't. It's that simple.
That he's no longer the champion of the World Boxing Confederation because he didn't pay a fee. That would be akin to the Los Angeles Dodgers, whether you're a Dodger fan or not, having won a grueling 7-game World Series in one of the greatest Game 7s of all time. It would be like if Major League Baseball came to them and said, well, you didn't pay us a fee, so you're no longer the World Series champion. It's only in this sport of boxing where you see nonsense like this.
Bro, I know I'm the best here. This man, Nick Khan, who's the WWE president, I know y'all missed it because only I'm smart enough to have heard that because I pay attention to what people say. He said the WBC, the World Boxing Confederation. But wait, there's more. WBC does not stand for the World Boxing Confederation. So you have a man in Nick Khan who is telling the boxing world what the Ali Act should contain and how we should change it and evolve it. He doesn't even know the acronym for the WBC. He said the World Boxing Confederation when it is in fact the World Boxing Council. So you don't even know the acronym to the most popular belt in boxing, but then you're trying to tell boxers and the world of boxing that you care. It don't make sense.
World Boxing Confederation.
Come on, bro.
Boxing Confederation of the World Champion of the World Boxing Confederation. The champion of the World Boxing Confederation. 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 Because he didn't pay a fee. Of the World Boxing Confederation, of the World Boxing Confederation, of the World Boxing Confederation, of the World Boxing Confederation.
Bro, you don't even know what the WBC stands for. This is the problem. And then when BOXINGEGO do a video, y'all be like, oh, but he just a YouTuber. Why y'all listening to him? He just a YouTuber. I am just a YouTuber, but I'm also a man and I'm also intelligent. And I also know what the WBC stands for if I'm going to talk about it. There's that. So again, TKO, they're trying to do their own thing. They're trying to preach. He said it would be akin to the World Series losing a title. What are you talking about, bro? This never existed in. Why would you compare baseball, a team sport, in the rule set of that to some other stuff that has nothing to do? Do you understand what I'm talking about, bro? Like, why are we comparing baseball? A team sport can never be compared to an individual sport in no way. So yeah, you're not going to strip a whole team of their title. That's just stupid and it's never ran that way in MLB. So yeah, to me, I understand the play. Now, the more I looked into it, the more I read into it, I understand. Crawford is being sent out as like a lapdog double agent. It sounds good. Like, yeah, Crawford standing up to the sanctioning bodies. And yeah, man, Mauricio's been robbing the fighters. All that stuff. It sounds good, but there is an extreme ulterior motive at play here. I truly believe that. Right? This is a Canadian lawyer that works in combat sports. You got to feel me. Because Zuffa, they got Mike Tyson, right? They got Mike Tyson, and he was like, I support the Muhammad Ali Revival Act. Bro, you fought Jake Paul and bit your glove and didn't. That was like a sham of a fight. You know what I mean? So Mike Tyson is not, just because he's a historic boxing figure, it don't mean he's always right. And to be honest, Mike Tyson probably got paid to say that. But listen to this lawyer and what he said about the Ali Revival Act and what they're trying to do. And you be the judge. I won't say nothing.
Mike Tyson is wrong. The decorated boxer released a statement this week lending his support to a bill that's before U.S. Congress that's looking to create major changes to a law that protects boxers. The law is called the Ali Act, and this new bill called the Ali Revival Act, it's phrased or coached in health and safety. But the reality is it's going to let deep pocket promoters ignore the financial protections that the Ali Act gives fighters. Now, here's where Mike is wrong. Here's where Mike's statement is wrong. It says that this new bill will close loopholes that have allowed some promoters to regain monopolistic control over fighters' careers. The Ali Act is an anti-monopoly bill, and right now there is no monopoly in boxing. If you're the number one contender, if you're the guy who's going to be fighting for the title, there are multiple promoters in boxing that are going to bid on your services. And those promoters bid against each other, and that lets fighters enjoy a high purse. Those promoters can't force a boxer to sign a coercive contract. Those promoters will have to let the boxers know all of the revenues that come in from those bouts. This new bill is going to undo all of those protections, and it's going to let TKO Boxing, TKO is the parent company of the UFC, run a boxing promotion the way they run the UFC.
Now, I know he's cooking. I know I've been cooking. Remember when you had Terence Crawford, a black fighter, said to Al Heyman, a black man from Cleveland, said to his company, PBC, that he needed the books and transparency, and he needed to see back-end information and transparency for the Errol Spence fight, right? He just told you that if they do this Muhammad Ali Revival Act, that the promoter, deep pocket promoters, certain privileges where fighters got to see the numbers and were required by law to be able to see it, now they won't be able to see it. Similar to the UFC structure, right? You think if Ilia Topuria do an event and they did it in Spain and it made all this money, you think Ilia Topuria is going to make a lot of that money? Or is it going to be the people, Dana White and the people in the UFC who are making it? Or remember when the UFC, the fighters back in the day, they used to have individual like sponsorships, and they would put like Bang energy drink or whatever on their fight gear or their shorts or their trunks or whatever. And then the UFC did a deal with Reebok, I believe, and then they did away with it. And then I think they have Prime as one of theirs. So now the individual fighters who made extra money, because we understand the UFC fighters don't make jack compared to top level boxers, right? That's a known fact. So an avenue to make more money for the UFC fighters used to be these like brand deals and sponsorships. And then the UFC got their own deal and then cut all the fighters out. And then the fighters lost that revenue stream. Like they lost the ability to make money through their own like connections or their own brand deals that they've set up as far as like in the fight, in the octagon, blah, blah, blah. So people were like telling you the Revival Act is like amazing. ulterior motives, politics.
Those promoters bid against each other, and that lets fighters enjoy a high purse. Those promoters can't force a boxer to sign a coercive contract. Those promoters will have to let the boxers know all of the revenues that come in from those bouts. This new bill is going to undo all of those protections, and it's going to let TKO Boxing, TKO is the parent company of the UFC, run a boxing promotion the way they run the UFC. It's going to allow a promoter to force boxers or to have boxers sign coercive contracts to be part of their organization. It's going to allow promoters to keep the revenue secret from the boxers. It's going to allow the promoters to control rank and title and decide who gets to fight for their title. And it's going to allow promoters in the long term to exploit boxers. And more importantly, it's going to allow a promoter to try and create a monopoly in boxing, which does not exist right now. A monopoly exists in the UFC and MMA. A federal judge found that the UFC is operating and abusing monopoly power in mixed martial arts. That same entity, the parent entity, is going to be allowed to get into boxing and try to have the same exploitative practices. So if you disagree with Mike Tyson's views, if you disagree with undoing boxing protections under the Ali Act, speak now or forever hold your peace. The Mixed Martial Arts Fighters Association has a petition out right now speaking up, opposing this new legislation and asking that instead Ali Act protections be extended to all prize fighters, not just boxers, but also MMA fighters, also kickboxers. Anybody who's fighting professionally deserves the same protections that boxers have, and boxers do not deserve to have those protections stripped. So speak up, sign the petition, and lend your voice to oppose this terrible bill.
Bam. You never know. I told you I saved the best for last. So now you understand what this is really about. Now I understand why Crawford is separating himself from the other sanctioning bodies. He don't have that much long in his career. Like, in my opinion, I think that his own team said that. He got a couple fights left. You know what I mean? So he's trying to do the biddings of the people he's working with. But it's also at the expense of the fighter, because just look at the UFC. The UFC is right now being investigated for potentially fixing fights and all types of abusive, exploitative power usage, because they are a monopoly. You understand what I'm saying? You see how this all works. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But at first, I think a lot of people were like giving Crawford credit. They were just like, yeah, Crawford, he's sticking it to the man. I don't think that's what it is. I think this congressional hearing and what TKO is trying to do, they're trying to get the full power in boxing, right? And then you'll be beholden to whatever they say. Like, look at the UFC fighters. Why do you think the fighters, they got to beg, oh, Dana, 50 G's. They got to beg for a win bonus. Ain't no boxer has to beg for a win bonus because they're getting paid substantially with their regular purse, right? And then what if Crawford, again, if you think Crawford's the hero here, then explain how Crawford said he wanted transparency to PBC and wanted to see their books, and he needed all the information, but then you're with the people who support taking away extra transparencies and protections that have been installed in the current version of the Muhammad Ali Reform Act, right? Oscar De La Hoya told you this too. And he's a person who's had a long career, both in the ring and then outside the ring as a fighter. So, and he's a promoter now. So if it was like Oscar didn't care about the sport as a promoter, if it benefited him, he could agree to it, but he's not. He's already spoke out on this and said, do not do this. This is not the way to go. Right? But peep this. John S. Nash. Not that I like the WBC, which I don't, But how is stripping Crawford for not paying a fee any different from stripping a fighter because they don't sign the promotional agreement with you? Again, this Ali revival, they could force the fighter to sign coercive contracts, and different protections that were there won't be there, right? You notice when Dana White also, when he has a UFC press conference, ain't nobody ask him no tough questions. They're all like buddy buddy. And if it's a tough question, it's about someone else. It won't be something that makes Dana White mad. However, when he did Canelo Crawford, you seen he got drilled by reporter Sean Zettel and he had absolutely no rebuttal for what Sean Zettel asked him. He was like, man, this guy, he's showboating and he wants to be an a-hole, but he couldn't answer the question. It says somewhat fitting, right? Somewhat fitting that today, while there is a congressional hearing, which I've already went over, to discuss passing a bill that would allow TKO and Zuffa Boxing to bring the UFC model to boxing, in Vegas, there will be a hearing for the 3 suits that argue UFC continues to violate the antitrust law via their business model, right? So UFC is being sued or dealing with lawsuits for a couple different things. And this is the model and the people who are telling you, hey, this is the model that will work for boxers. Typically, there's a little in the way of media covering UFC antitrust cases, but for tomorrow, Johnson versus Zuffa hearing with the magistrate journalists from MLEX, Reuters, and Capital Forum, as did I, put in a non-request for remote access. Did someone get a wind of something? Right? So people are trying to follow up with this, like reporters. I just saw that as well, and right after it was approved by the magistrate. So they got their UFC got their own ish going on right now, and then they trying to bring the model to boxing. I told you it's deeper than what y'all think. Let me know how I did in the video. I know I did excellent, and I know a lot of people weren't even looking at it like this. They're just thinking like, oh, Crawford is taking a stand. It is much, much deeper than that. Much, much deeper, I can assure you. And that's what I see. But you guys need to understand what's going on. But here's Oscar De La Hoya, and he's talking about why they shouldn't change the Ali Reform Act. He said it's for fighter protection. The original 2000 Ali Act was designed to protect boxers by ensuring financial transparency and preventing conflicts of interest. And the proposed changes would eliminate these safeguards. Monopolization, we already went over that. De La Hoya warns that TKO is trying to implement the same unethical business practices used in the UFC to create a monopoly in boxing, where one company would control rankings, titles, and fighter contracts. Financial transparency. De La Hoya stresses that the current Ali Act obliges promoters to disclose financial details of an event, giving fighters the right to see the books. He believes the new amendment aims to eliminate this transparency. He has warned managers and fighters changing the act would mean they fight for what they pay you, just like the UFC, that allowing for free negotiation, thereby reducing boxer pay significantly. You know how like the UFC, when they put the purses, it'd be like 50,000, 100,000, 125,000, 80,000. You know what I mean? It'd be different. These boxers are getting paid way more than that. So these are the people trying to change it. And again, you can't, in my opinion, in this game, you can't really trust nobody because some people are being paid off to shill, right? They're being paid, and if it's every man for himself, every woman for herself, you're going to shill because people are putting money behind you. So there might be a content creator. They're not going to do what BOXINGEGO did in this video. You got people who make content and they're being paid by Ring, you know, or they're being paid by Turki or Riyadh season or whatever's going on. So they're going to be like, yeah, this is good, or not say anything. But me, I'm independent. I'm an independent thinker, and we going to always kick the actual factuals and keep it real. And I wanted to express this because I truly believe there's more than meets the eye when it comes to why Crawford did what he did. A lot of people, there's a lot of YouTubers and content creators, they don't really know what's going on. So they haven't even delved into this world. They're just like, yeah, Crawford told him, and they're just looking at it from a Crawford Suleiman perspective. I'm looking at it from an aerial view, because what really got me on this track is you got to understand why the switch up. Crawford never had a problem paying sanctioning fees. We never heard about him getting stripped for failure to comply or pay. He's never bashed the WBC and said your belt is trash, your belt don't mean ish, the Ring magazine. Why are you doing this now? That is what if you gain nothing else from this video, ask for intention and motive. Why would a person who built their whole career on accolades and telling you, I've been undisputed 3X, I got this belt, I collected this belt, I beat this guy who was ranked, I went to Ricky Burns' backyard, Crawford's whole, because he wasn't as popular as Errol in his prime, or Deontay Wilder, or Gervonta Davis, or Canelo, or Floyd. He wasn't. So Crawford's whole baseline for him and his team, when they would argue about like Crawford's worth or whatever, would be pure accolades. It's that simple. So why the sudden change where it seems like you really got smoke for the WBC? Why now? So take it for what it's worth. Believe me, don't believe me, my bills will still be paid. Let me know how I did in this video. We unpacked. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new. But even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate. So ultimately,